This is your first video that we're doing together for SPSS. This is to help you get acquainted with it and also to begin some concepts that are in Chapter 1 of How to Use SPSS by Brian C. Crunk. Okay? So first let's open it up. And I wanted this version, 23. And I'm going to plug in a headset so you don't hear the voice on my adaptive software. I'm going to leave you see the red circle here? The oval? I'm going to leave that on with the cursor so you can have a better idea where I'm at on the page. Okay, what are we doing today with this? Well, we're exploring, but we're also going to begin to add some new data. So what we're going to do is click on that one because we're not doing a query and we're not opening another file. So double left click, and here we are. Let's explore. Let's look to see what are these about at the top of the file. Well, similar to other Microsoft applications, notice we have new, we have open. So you have another choice. If you want to open something when you're in it, you can do it from here, or you can do a new data set. So you do have choices from here of doing similar if you don't choose it at the beginning. And let's go to the second one. You have edit. Notice you have undo and redo. Insert variables, insert cases. There's different ways you can go about doing that on SPSS, which as we work through the course we can explore some of those, besides coming up to the top here. You have data, transform, analyze. This really goes to for this course. I want you to really explore these and look down each one and see what type of stuff is here. Now, yours may be a little bit different than mine because you have the basic. So when I scroll down these, if you do not see it the same on yours, please don't be over concerned that, because as you know, this course we're co-teaching this, and we do realize the professor, he realizes what's on your particular software. Okay? So you look down, compare means. Your means one sample t-test and dependent sample t-test, which again on your basic you may not have all of these tests, okay? But get a little idea about this. For example, the first one, descriptive statistics. We have frequencies, descriptives. That's stuff that you will be viewing. That's just with my adaptive software. So work your way across, and there's something really neat here I want to point out as far as help. Besides the videos I'm making to go with the course, you also have this help section, which you can go to explain about what you're trying to work on, whether it's figuring out the mean, similar to an average, or if you want to, other descriptive statistics, or later if you're working on down the road, you're working on analysis of variance. You can get help here also besides the course videos. So okay, we're done up there. Let's go down here. When you get into SPSS, before you put any data in, basically you gotta let the software know what do you want to do. Because what's best is to first tell it what do you want to do, so it can label these columns. Think of the pillars on the building running north to south or top to bottom. You want to be able to let the computer know first what you're doing. So I always like to add the variables first. So let's go to the variable view. Notice that it's name, type, width, decimals. Okay, for this one, let's say, because I don't want to give you, I'm not going to do the same as in the book where it has, for example, on page 2, it mentions, on example 1.2.2 ID, day of class, class time, morning person, final grade. Well, I'm not going to do the exact on that. But I'm going to give you examples so you know how to set it up. So for this one, let's say I have two classes I'm comparing. I have a class A and a class B. Okay, so at the beginning, what it is, it's two different classes, but what it is the class. Or since we're in grad school, let's call it a course. Course. Okay, type. I'll be entering it as numbers, not letters. So I'm going to leave it as numeric. Width. You can use these up and down arrows here, but with my adaptive software, it gets a little funny. So I'm going to actually type it in with the keyboard. Put the 1 and I do delete. Say, even so, after I do a 0 here, I'll go back, because I'm not having a number to the right of the decimal place. Okay. Which again, you probably won't experience that because you're not using adaptive software, which that's why you see this red circle and blue. Values. Okay, this is where I do want to enter something, which in the book it has, for example, like day of class, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, but for mine, I'm comparing two classes. Let's say this is a hypothetical study. I have Class A and Class B, or Course A and Course B. What I'm doing is they will either get, let's say one's a day, one's a night class, but they're two different courses. We're just going to say Course A and B. One's going to get treats and one's not going to treats as they learn about SPSS. So what I'm going to do here is, notice this is the course. That's the name of that column. So what I'm going to do to indicate here is 1. You can do tab to go to the next section instead of clicking on it. You can press your tab. And this would be Course A. I can do space A and then add. Okay. Value. I'm going to have I'm comparing two different courses. So this would be number 2. And see now, so you can see I'm clicking on it instead of doing a tab this time. The value, Course B, add. I think I want a space there. I want it just the way the typing looks on that. So notice that when I clicked on it, one left click, it brought it up here to label. So then I can just get my little cursor thing, little flash, you see that piece, just put it in between, then press the space bar. Okay, that's the way I want it to look. So then I click change. So you can go back and do that, and I'm just comparing a Course A and Course B, so yes, I'm all done. This is what I want, so I click OK. Now, are there going to be any missing values? People like, for example, that wanting to report if they're in A or B. No, I'm not going to have any missing values on this one. And for this beginning, let's look at this. This is your measure. Remember where you have the scales of measurement, nominal, ordinal, interval, ratio? Okay, that's not what I want here. This here, if they're in Class A or Class B, is nominal. It's similar to naming. It's naming them like they're in either A or B. And 1 for A, 2 for B, the course. So that's a nominal one. Whoop. Let's go again. Nominal. Now the next one, treatment. And again, I'm going to be entering numbers. This will also only be one digit there, and again, which you won't experience the same. So I'll go back to it. You probably won't. That's just with my my current software. Let's see. Values. You have here. Okay. Now what I'm doing is, if they received the treatment, which a treatment here is treats, they get to have bananas, strawberries, or chocolate when they're learning about SPSS. So if they receive the treatment or the treat, value 1, tab, I can put receive treats, if you want to call it that, or receive treatment. And unlike when you put a name in this section, you cannot put a space as far as when you name the column. When you put it here again, you can put a space. We're going to call it treatment. The treats are the treatment. So receive treatment, and 2, and you can even do tab, and that's no treatment. As you work through the course, you'll come with more scholarly names than these, what I use just right now. Add, and that's it. All I have is one, receive treatment or no treatment. I'm all done, so I'm going to click OK. And for this one, this is again nominal, it's naming. It's not ordinal, like, think ordinal like order. First, second, third, fourth, tallest, shortest. Scale is your interval ratio. That, for example, could be test scores. That could be scores on assessments, psychological assessments. Those could be scores, like a scale type measurement, because interval ratio data. So this is still nominal. And again, let me click again so it takes it. There we go. And the last one, they're going to receive a grade for their SPSS training. So this is their score, test, score. Notice I did not leave a space. If you leave a space, it will not take it. And this, let's say they could go up to 100%. So that could be three digits, right? The width, that's to the left of the decimal place. And am I going to give them like a 90.25%? Could they possibly earn that on this? No, not on this particular one, let's say. So there's 0. And any values. In the future, when we go further down, you could actually give this values. You could specify it as far as letter grade, A, B, C, D, but I'm not going to do that for this. And now we move all the way down to, no missing. Everybody's going to report their grade for this one, for the example of this. So scale, this is scale because this is interval or ratio. Let's say if they could, they may or may not have an absolute 0, but in this particular case, it's still the same. It's still scale. Interval, ratio are both scale. So I click on scale. Okay, now that I have all my columns named, and I have if they have values or no values listed, and the type of measure, I have all that data in, that information entered. What I'm going to do is go to the data view. Okay? And this is where you put in, and again, if they're in course A, which of course you'd be looking at your information as you type this in, typing it from one to the other, or there's also a version, you can even sometimes copy and paste, which we can get into that later maybe. For the course, let's say this individual was in course A, they received treatment, and I'm using the arrow keys here on my keyboard to move across, okay? And let's say, what was their test score? Let's say they received a 90%, or 90. Okay, the next participant is right there. Left click on it you can, or you can move across with your arrow keys. For this one, let's say they're in the second class. And I used the right arrow key on my keyboard, and they received a treatment, and their score was 95. Okay, I could use a down arrow key and then work my way across to left if I wish instead of the mouse. So I can move this over to the side for you. Ooh, look up above, I have a mistake. I do not have 3 classes. So I press delete, and I push the number 2. Okay, so you can go in there and readjust. So then for the next one, let's say they're also in the second class. They didn't receive treatment. Their score was 75. Now for participant 4, they were in course 1. received treatment, they received a score of 80. There's going to be something we're going to go over later, extraneous variables. So since there is a difference of course A and course B, what else could be going on? Is it the same professor or a different professor? Is it the same textbook, a different textbook? So let's go back over to here. Now participant number 5. And they didn't. And their score was 70. So I think you get the gist on how to enter these probably by now, like the basic idea. So I'm only going to put one more. And let's see, that would be another for group 2. And this one would have received the treatment. And their score, let's say they got 99. Okay. Now that we have this part done, so the variables are defined, which is section 122. We had the information entered, and let me look in the textbook here. What else do we have? We're going to do descriptives. Okay. Now what they have here though is they do have you saving your data before you do descriptives. So we can go up to here, you can click on File, or a lot of times I click Alt-F, but for your benefit we're going to click on File, Save As, Save All Data, Save, and what's this called? This one, let's call course treatment. Okay. Save. Okay. There it is. Now we can go to analyze. Remember before when I was mentioning to you to have some fun here and explore this? To see where you find things? There's means here. But we have descriptives here. That's similar to your book. Notice we have then our group of stuff. We have our test score. And then we can click. See, there's other things here, options, which are really cool. What you want to decide you want to include in it. You click on options, and for this one, it has minimum, maximum, mean, standard deviation. See the mean. Notice we have standard deviation, minimum, maximum. Yay. Variable list, because you wanted to explain what the stuff is, the columns. Let's see, and then continue. Okay, so that's correct. Let's click OK. Woohoo! There you go. Okay. Test score, valid N. You have the number of participants in the study. There were only 6. 70 is the minimum score. The maximum score was 99. The mean is 84.83. Standard deviation 11.583, which this will mean more to you later as you work through the course. Because as you remember, there was one score that was 99. So this is basically what we have here. And that concludes part of their first chapter. Okay? And what's really neat was when I want to close out of here, it will mention to me about if I want to save my data. Okay, so let's say I close out, I get a little excited. Oh, do you want to save contents of output view for output 1? Yes. I want to give it the same name as last time, course treatment. Okay. And there's other options you have down here, which I don't think you'll be encrypting with a password. Encrypt file with password and lock file to prevent editing in Smart Reader. So for this purpose of this class, we have that. And we push save. And it's saved. And when I do the same here, it will ask me, SPSS does this each time, it lets you know, it says, hey, wait, do you really want to exit SPSS? Do you want to proceed? And I push yes. Now you can choose to not be alerted to this by clicking that box. See right there where I clicked it? But I don't want to do that. I like it to alert me before I close it. So, yes. And that's your first video. Just getting a little introduced to SPSS.